everyone, a very good evening. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. This is your daily dose of 1 hour of personal finances. Let's tell you what we have lined up today on the show. Well, as we've been flagging off today on ET Now, the stock markets have definitely rallied. We have the Nifty trying to make a dash towards 13,000. It may do so perhaps this week. The Sensex as well at 44,000 last week. So definitely a great rally and a great momentum being witnessed in the equity markets. And when you see this sort of enthusiasm on on the street, on the Lal Street, you do tend to think that, okay, I've invested in equity markets. I've done so, of course, via my mutual funds. How are my mutual funds doing? How's my mutual fund portfolio doing? Is it really rallying, or, is it really giving the kind of gains that we've been witnessing in the equity markets? Is it underperforming it? And if it is underperforming, then is that really a cause of concern, especially if, you're a long-term investors? Also, when the markets do tend to reach such highs, what should you do and what should you not do? What are the common investor mistakes that one usually commits, and how you can essentially avoid them? We'll be discussing that and more later on the show. Zero broking models. A lot of us have, of course, come across this terminology, especially the ones who've newly entered the share market in the last 2 to 3 odd years. Basically, these are the firms that charge you zero for using their platform to trade in shares, or an extremely low amount, of what we call as discount brokerage model. But we have unfortunately seen the whole Karvy fiasco play out, and it's something that has caused a lot of us to be circumspect. So we'll dive a bit more into how this whole zero brokerage model works, and if there are indeed any risks involved with the same, and whether you should opt for it. How should you choose your broking firm? So first up, let me introduce for the very first topic of today, Anand Ladha, the founder of Invest Aaj for Kal. Anand, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now. Anand, to start with, when the markets are at record highs, many of us have this tendency to sort of go back to our, our portfolio and look at how our portfolio is doing. Sometimes we're disappointed, sometimes we're exuberant because, the portfolio is doing as well as the markets. To what extent should you sort of keep comparing or keep track of your mutual fund portfolio with your markets? And by the way, there are some category of people who really don't bother checking in on their portfolio either, because we say it's for long-term investors. So your comment on that as well.
Hi. See, comparing of a portfolio is always good. We should always compare our portfolio, because it tells us whether we are on the right track, or do we need to change our track. But we have to make sure that we are comparing it with the right benchmark. Just for example, we still have many investors who compare their mid-cap funds, or maybe small-cap funds for that matter, with Nifty maybe. So this is completely like comparing apple with oranges, which is not right. Plus, also, we have to make sure that we are not comparing our portfolio just with our best friend or maybe with our neighbor. Just for example, suppose I and my friend is in Mumbai. My friend want to go to Delhi from Mumbai. So he has taken a Delhi flight. It doesn't mean that I will also take a Delhi flight. Maybe I want to go to London. So we have to make sure that everyone is unique. Everyone has their own goals and aspirations, and everyone has to make sure that their investment is according to their goals. They should not compare it with their friends. And they should make sure that if they are comparing it with the benchmark, they should use the right benchmark for that matter.
So how do you sort of do that? How do you, understand how your portfolio is doing? Because the most common benchmark for us is, of course, the equity markets, because that gives you a general sense of how the market is moving, or the direction of the market, whether it's in the green or in the red.
See, suppose if you have invested in maybe large cap funds, then surely you have to compare it with Nifty and Sensex. But if you have invested in small cap or maybe a mid cap funds, then you have to compare it with the small cap index and maybe with the mid cap index. Plus, for the value investor, they have to make sure that value plus versus growth both have their own cycles and own performance. So we have to make sure that value has underperformed a bit, but that doesn't mean we should not have value in our portfolio. We have to make sure that even if value has not performed in recent part, it will perform in coming times, but we have to give it its own time.
Okay. So you think that, let's say, if my portfolio is not doing as well as the benchmarks, like you mentioned, or compared to the overall markets, should I not be too worried? Should I not get into this whole panic mode then?
See, suppose if your investment has underperformed for a long period of time, then obviously we need to revisit it. But if it has underperformed just for maybe for some few months or maybe quarters, then it is absolutely okay. You have to stick to your goal. Plus, whenever market is doing so well, no, we have to be very cautious, not cautious about our investment, but we have to be cautious for our emotions, because emotional mistakes are highest whenever market are doing too good. See, when market is rising, no, we feel that all trees will go to sky, and when market corrects, we feel that world will end. In last 25 years, I'm very sure every one of us have heard at least 3 times that world is going to end. Neither the world is ending nor all trees are going to sky. So we have to make sure that we are not making any of the emotional mistakes. And if our portfolio is doing okay as compared to benchmark, that is absolutely okay. But if it is underperforming a lot, maybe in 3 to 5 year time horizon, then obviously we have to revisit it. But if it is underperforming in maybe recent past, maybe 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, that is absolutely okay. It always happens. And when we are investing for long term, obviously we have to consider that.
So you think then, I mean, actually this was going to be my next question, that at what point is a particular fund a sell signal? Do you think that long-term underperformance compared to its benchmark or compared to its market is the only signal for an investor when he or she is looking into his portfolio that, okay, you know what, this is not doing well, I should sell? Or do you think that's the only red flag or the indicator to sell off or redeem that fund?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We need to sell our fund when we are near to our goal, or maybe when we have reached our goal. Slight underperformance is absolutely okay. And redeeming just by seeing the market doesn't make any sense, because if your goal is maybe 20 years down the line, doesn't make sense for you to redeem it right now. I know we are at market high right now, but do you think even after 10 years or maybe 15 years, we'll be seeing Nifty at 13,000? I really don't think so. I think you, and every one of us will be growing, and with it, even equity will be growing. So we have to make sure that we stick to our goal. So if our goal is a near term, obviously we have to redeem, and we should redeem based on our goal instead of redeeming looking at the markets or maybe looking at the Nifty performance in recent past.
So if if the financial goal towards which you had been investing in mutual funds, it could be, buying a car, or it could be buying a house, or paying for your child's education, if that goal is coming closer, that's when you should consider slowly redeeming your mutual funds. And then, of course, the second parameter is long-term underperformance compared to the markets. Yes, there will be times when, your fund may underperform for a couple of months, or maybe perhaps, a couple of more months than just 2 or 3. But that is not the only basis on which you decide that, okay, this is the fund that I want to, redeem and exit, in the portfolio. Now, let's talk about mistakes. Anand, in your experience, what have you seen investors most likely tend to do, especially when the market is at a high?
See, there are a couple of mistakes which investors end up doing. The biggest one is avoiding their suitability. Just for example, when market are doing good, we feel that all trees will grow to sky. So that is why even a defensive investor is ready to invest in equity. And when market corrects, even an aggressive investor is running away from equity and thinking about debt. That is absolutely wrong. I'll just give an example. In March, when markets were at maybe 7,500 to 8,000 level, Nifty was at 7,500 to 8,000 level. That was just 20% higher than 2008 highs. Means market was actually cheap. But at that time, emotion was so high that even an aggressive investor was exiting from equity. Right now, even a defensive investor is ready to get into equity, which is very wrong. We should always stick to our suitability. And the second mistake which investors are doing right now is some of the investors are trading off lately. That is good. If you are trading and getting good returns, that is good. But they are extrapolating it and thinking that they can almost double their portfolio in 1 or 2 years by trading, and they are redeeming their long-term portfolio and shifting it to trading. That is absolutely not right. We have to make sure that we have a separate trading portfolio, and we have a separate investment portfolio, and we have to deal with them separately. This is the second mistake which many investors are doing, especially because in last recent past, maybe some of them have even able to get around 5% or 10% a month. But that is a one-off chance which we get in trading. We should not forget our long-term investing. And third mistake is stopping the SIPs. See, a goal which you have in probably next 10 years, 15 years. SIP is a beautiful concept which we have to make sure that we are sticking to it. We should not redeem or stop SIPs just because market is at lifetime high. Your goal is still 20 years down the line. Doesn't make any sense for you to redeem SIPs looking at the Nifty being at market high and considering that market may correct maybe 10%, 20%. See, whenever we are doing long-term investing, whenever we are doing SIPs, our target returns are maybe 100%, 200% for that matter, and at times 300% as well. So when we are thinking of 300% return, correction of 10, 20, 30% doesn't matter at all. So we have to make sure that we are sticking to a good habit, which we have developed after so long that finally investors are ready for SIPs. So they should not stop it. Fourth mistake is redeeming equity for their long-term goal as well. If their goal is in next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, they're redeeming, that is absolutely right. They should redeem. But if their goal is in long-term, maybe 10 years down the line, redemption should not happen right now, which we are seeing of lately that a lot of investors are redeeming their mutual funds from maybe 10,000 Nifty level, and then they are regretting and they are just waiting that market will correct, then I'll reinvest it. We have to understand that we should not redeem our 10 years portfolio. But yes, if your goal is in near term, obviously you have to redeem that. You have to make sure. Next mistake, which many investors are doing, is they are framing conclusions out of the short-term movement. See, in market, we have leaders and laggards. We don't have winners and losers. This we have to understand. We have to make sure that they are leaders and laggards, and we should not frame conclusions based on recent past. And the final mistake, this is the biggest mistake which many investors are now finally making, that they are fluctuating their trust level based on Nifty. I'll just give you an example. If Nifty and their portfolio is doing good, they are trusting their advisors and maybe their distributors a lot. When market is not doing good, they feel that their advisor is not doing good. Your trust on your advisor should not fluctuate based on the market performance. You have to understand that it's a long-term game and you have to stick to that game if you want to be a winner in the end.
Okay, all right. Well, very important lessons, and I think it's something that all of us should as well, pay heed to. On that note, you know what, we'll just take a very short break on the show, but stay with us. We've got some questions and queries that, our viewers have written in to us, and, we would love to get an Anand's view on all of that. Meanwhile, if you as well want to connect with us, ask your questions to Anand on, the current market rally, on your portfolio, write into us. Our email address is themoneyshow@etnow.tv. All right, welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET. Now, we're in conversation with Anand Ladha on the markets being at record highs, how you as well can invest as investors, can really read through your own, portfolio and see whether it is being up to speed with the equity markets. Well, we've received a couple of questions and queries as well from our viewers, so let's try and get those answered. All right, Mohit Gupta writes in, and he's, having a very interesting analysis. He believes, or he asks rather, can the interest rates of the 10-year GSEC increase in the future due to very high government borrowing? His logic is not wrong. But yeah, what do you think, Mohit? What do you think, Anand? And also, I want to bring on board one more aspect to this question, and that is with respect to gilt funds. The last 2 odd years have seen steady returns in gilt funds, double-digit almost every year. What do you think? Is this path, of gilt funds going higher, expected to continue? And also, do you think it's because of this 10-year GSEC increase?
See, firstly, Mohit is absolutely right in predicting that GSEC yields will eventually rise. Maybe not immediately, but eventually it will rise. So we have to make sure that whenever we are selecting a debt fund, return expectation going forward. See, whatever past returns are there, we should neglect it. Whenever we are investing in debt funds, going forward, we have to make sure that our return expectation is equal to the YTM of that fund minus the expense ratio. That is the right expectations to set right now. And the gilt funds, or maybe for that matter, duration funds, medium-term funds, they have delivered huge returns in recent past. I don't think they'll be able to deliver the same amount of return in coming future. But yes, they are still attractive, but expectation should be equal to YTM minus the expense ratio. This is the legitimate expectations right now. And yields will increase eventually, maybe not immediately, but yes, eventually it will increase.
All right, okay. And finally, let's take on board a question from Shri Kumar. He says, and he asks for a particular fund, the Tata Balanced Advantage Fund, where he says he's invested. He says that now it seems that they're side pocketing this fund. He wants to know if he should stay invested, redeem, or switch over to another fund. And also, if you advise a switch, then which fund? For the benefit of all our viewers, what essentially is side pocketing, and is it detrimental really to fund holders?
See, side pocketing is actually beneficial for all the investors. It is like adding an airbag to your car. You have airbags in your car doesn't mean that your car will meet an accident. It is just for safety purpose, and same thing has happened with this fund. And eventually it is actually good for investors because with the help of this concept, no one can take advantage of any correction or maybe any default or short-term movement which is happening in any of the fund. So it is actually beneficial in the and it is actually in the benefit of the investors if funds are having side pocketing. And it is just that they have implemented that if in going forward, if anything happens and there is a requirement of side pocketing, they will adhere to that rule, and it is actually good. And decision should not be made based on this single notification or maybe this single letter which has been published to all the investors. This is actually for their benefit. And as far as Balanced Advantage Fund is concerned, it is a defensive fund, and if it is matching your requirement, your suitability, then it is absolutely okay. I personally feel that if an investor is an active investor, he has better options available as compared to Balanced Advantage. Of lately, Balanced Advantage Fund as a category have become everyone's favorite. But I personally feel that having a allocation of debt versus equity according to your suitability can give you better returns. And obviously, you should consult your advisor on this. And just the side pocketing rule should not be a reason for you to change any of the funds for that matter.
All right, just side pocketing should not be really a reason why you should, consider panicking and switching over your fund. That's an important note to consider. All right, well, Anand, we leave it at that. Many thanks for joining us today on ET Now and, sharing your valuable advice to all our investors as we look at a market that's really sparkling. Looks like the Diwali festivities seem to be continuing, but of course, it's important to look at your portfolio as well. And you heard out Anand on how you should really view your portfolio, review your portfolio in light of the markets perhaps very soon touching yet another record high level. All right, well, on that note, we'll take a very short break, but when we return, we have more investing lessons on the Money Show. This time around, it is on the ABCs, especially for new investors. How should you start off by picking a good broking firm? Don't go anywhere.